The start of the 2024 school year is nearly here, and districts around the state are moving away from zero tolerance policies.
12 News reporter Rachel Hallam breaks down Wichita Public Schools' new code of conduct and its possession or use of weapons policy.
Wichita Public Schools updating the student code of conduct, including their possessions or use of weapons policy. Under the proposed policy, possession or use of a weapon on school grounds will, at the minimum, result in a Level 2 consequence, which could include in-school suspensions or in-school interventions.
The tiers of conduct, there'll be 1, 2, and 3, and that's very similar to any type of criminal justice system, where it divides things like disruption in class would be a lower level violation, or bringing a firearm to school would be among that category that is the Level 3. In terms of punishment for those, that's up to our hearing office and up to the courts if there's a criminal violation.
Wichita Public Schools added the safety of their students is, of course, their #1 priority, and says action will always be taken swiftly.
All of our educators are trained in de-escalation skills. We also focus a lot on see something, say something, building relationships with students.
She added the hope is to stop campus crisis as soon as possible,
so that we can do things like restorative practices before they become severe.
In Wichita, Rachel Hallam, 12 News.
The first of 2 dialogue sessions scheduled for public review and discussion of the proposed code of conduct happens next Wednesday night, August 21st at 6 o'clock at the Administrative Center. You can read more about the proposed policy on the KWCH app and website.